Welcome to Tom Rhodes Radio Smart Camp. Hey, I am speaking to you now on the back porch of my friend Lou Angel Wolf's apartment, his house. It's a beautiful springtime sunny day in Florida. It's Florida at its absolute best right now. It's beautiful, sunny. There's palm trees. I see some redneck pickup trucks with very big tires off in the distance, and I didn't think I was going to put out a podcast today, to be honest with you. I started the day started out really shitty for me, and I was in a really bad mood, so I didn't think I was going to put out an episode. So I'm just as shocked as you are to hear my voice right now. But last night before I went to bed, I checked the news, and it was the breaking news about that the mosque shootings in New Zealand, which it's always heartbreaking to read about mass shootings. And then, people killing for ideology. It was a hate group, apparently. I always said that, I think anybody who kills in the name of religion should have every page of their religious holy book shoved up their ass with a pile driver, and if you die in a suicide attack, then your mom gets it on national television. But now if it's just like a hate group killing people just because they were Muslims, how do you punish them? And I've been to New Zealand. New Zealand is so sleepy and wonderful, and I've been to Christchurch where this happened. I was in Christchurch in 2013, and the earthquake had been like the year before, and downtown Christchurch was basically obliterated. And the people were recovering and living in ruins. And those were, I think, some of the best shows in New Zealand on that tour in Christchurch, because the people really needed a laugh. And now, innocent, wonderful New Zealand, so far removed from the rest of the earth, has been tainted with one of the most heinous things that could happen to a society. So that was pretty shitty, going to bed and reading that news right before I went to bed. And then I woke up and, I haven't been completely honest with you. When I was home in Orlando at Christmas, I met a very nice woman, and I'm in no hurry to get into another relationship at the moment, but I thought, wow, this person is, could be the person I would like to have my next relationship with. So she came to visit me in February for a weekend, and I guess I wasn't ready. It didn't go very well. And I thought I would see her again while I was in Florida. And I woke up this morning to a text from her saying, never contact me again, and I'm a self-centered narcissist. So it kind of hurt my feelings. It did hurt my feelings, in fact. And I felt really shitty, and I was in too foul of a mood to record a podcast today. And, number one, you have to be a self-centered narcissist to be a stand-up comedian. And you have to be a self-centered narcissist to put out a podcast or tweet or put pictures of yourself on Instagram. So I'm guilty when it comes to being a self-centered narcissist. But I thought it was really a wonderful person that I was ready to have a relationship with. And she dropped the guillotine blade down on my neck. And it's funny. It's like, wow, I got dumped again. I didn't even know it was possible to be dumped again so quick. So the truth remains that I have been left more times than pizza crust. And I am a self-centered narcissist. Sorry. That's how people create things. And that's kind of the mentality of an artist. But anyway, so yeah, one more bruise and bump on the way to Yeah, I want to protect my heart. I don't want to get in a relationship, but I was ready to jump in with this person, so it hurt my feelings. Anyway, so as the day progressed, um, there were a few things that happened today that cheered me up. Number one, I got an email from Billboard magazine, and my new album, Around the World, next week is going to be on the comedy album charts. So my album apparently is doing really well. It made the Billboard charts, and so that cheered me up tremendously. And I think probably the Billboard music and comedy charts, everyone on those lists are self-centered narcissists. Also, I mean, isn't our country, the world, designed to be self-centered narcissists? Since everyone is constantly sharing content with them about themselves. I know it's true, but anyway. So that cheered me up with with Billboard magazine. And then I don't know if you've been following this, but I did Ari Shafir's podcast. It just came out a few days ago, Skeptic Tank, and I love Ari. Ari's one of the few people that travels the world as much as I do. And I told him about how Delta Airlines had downgraded me from diamond status to platinum status. And it's very hard to hit diamond. You have to sit in your seat for 125,000 miles. And then last year, you had to spend $15,000. I'm sure I have rambled on about this, and you've heard far too much about me complaining about my diamond status. But, and especially in today's world with so much talk about white privilege and everything, I know it's a real white privilege thing to complain about. That, oh, poor me, I was downgraded from diamond to platinum. And anyway, when I was on Ari's podcast, he said Delta would do the right thing, and that they would have a heart if enough of his listeners tweeted at Delta. So I don't know if you've seen the firestorm of tweets in the last 24, 48 hours about people tweeting to Delta that they should reinstate my diamond status. So less than an hour ago, I got a phone call from Delta Airlines saying that they were going to do this a one-time exception because they reviewed my stats, my miles, and the money spent, and apparently I was only $3,000 short, $3,300 to be exact, of hitting $15,000 spent in a year, and the fact that I had flown 155,621 miles. So Delta has reinstated my diamond status. Hallelujah. And as shitty as the day started, now all of a sudden I'm in a good mood. And I'm kind of over the moon at the moment. I can't believe that it happened because the day started out so shitty. I'm happy to be back in Florida. The weather in Los Angeles, Jesus Christ, it's been so rainy and cold this year, and now I'm back in Florida, enjoying the sunshine, being around my old friends who give me love and put up with whatever my eccentricities are. Anyway, so the day has turned out to be a really nice day so far. Oh, and then I also did an interview with the Interrobang magazine about my new album. So, what is this going to be, a 10-minute podcast today? I don't have that much else to tell you. Shit. Yeah, it turned out to be a really good day. Thank you, Delta. And I will fly Delta Airlines for the rest of my life now. Delta Airlines is the greatest, and they obviously do care about their most loyal customers. And I talked with a woman for a really long time, and she understood that I was a comedian, and all of the pleas that I and everyone else made on the internet, had been heard by her, and she wanted to do the right thing by Delta Airlines. Man, it's really hard to give up that diamond status, you know. The best thing is you get to board the plane with first class. So no matter where your seat is, there's plenty of overhead compartments to put your bags in. You never have to stress about that. So, oh my God, there's lizards crawling across the screen. I grew up with that. We had a screened-in pool in our backyard in Oviedo, and it was always fun to catch the little chameleon lizards that run across the screen. You just got to catch them by the tail, and then they disconnect from their tail and grow them back. So I think that's basically the story of my life. I'm growing back my tail right now. Anyway, it's sunny. I'm in Florida. I'm playing in Tampa. Next week, Lexington, Kentucky. The week after that, San Francisco. The week after that, New York City. And I'm happy that I'm going to get on all of these planes as a diamond medallion. Oh, yeah, and you get to use the first class lounge every time you fly. So I love Delta Airlines. I have nothing bad to say about Delta Airlines. And they really do have a heart. They're not like American. They won't drag you out of your seat that you paid for. So I'm very happy. The day started out really shitty. The New Zealand shooting brings me down. You can't help but feel compassion for innocent people being murdered, especially these people that came from war-torn countries to start a new life. I mean, there's not that many Muslim people in New Zealand. I've been there. And then being unceremoniously dumped this morning when I didn't know I was dumpable really put me in a foul mood. But anyway, there's joy in life again, people. And I hope that spring, God, I'm so glad that spring is finally here. And I'm ready to blossom. And got new jokes coming. The new jokes are developing. The Tampa Side Splitters Club is such a great club. You know, it's like the people are trashy enough where they're not snooty. They won't get offended by anything. And then there's been loads of international people at the show the last 2 nights. So hopefully my reputation as, or whatever reason, people know I've traveled, they heard about the album, or if they just think I'm Mr. International, I don't know why. But I'm like I've said 1,000 times, my favorite kind of audience is multinational, multi-ethnic, and I've been getting that in spades in Tampa. Just truckloads of cool, interesting foreign people. There was a guy from Hungary in the audience 2 nights ago, and I blew his mind because I knew that the 1950s national team of Hungary changed modern soccer. We get the idea that total football, attack football, was invented by the 1950s Hungary team. And they had this, their star player was Pushkin, something like that. So the fact that I knew this blew the guy's mind. And there was a woman from Lebanon in the audience last night. And there's a movie, I don't know if I talked about this already. It's called The Insult. And it was nominated 2 years ago for the best foreign film. It didn't win. I remember being in Paris 2 years ago and seeing the posters for it in the metro. And what a great film this is. It's about a Lebanese Christian guy who's an auto mechanic. And there's a Palestinian guy insults him. So he punches he insults the Palestinian, and the Palestinian guy punches him. And then they go to court, and then the trial becomes this big sensation. It's national news in Lebanon. The whole country rallies around it. No one has sympathy for the Christian guy, and everybody has sympathy for the Palestinian guy because of the plight of the Palestinian people. And then the courtroom scenes are great because it was this older man lawyer who defended the Christian guy, and his daughter defended the Palestinian guy. So there's all kinds of complex stories going on already in this complex story. So anyway, I talked about that film, and you know, I like to think that Florida isn't that international, but it really is. Every time I come to Florida now, there's just loads of people from every corner of the earth at my shows. Hopefully, that's something that I did. Anyway, I might take a break here and try and think of some other things to talk about, but I just wanted to let you know that, number one, Delta is the greatest airline on the planet Earth. They will now have my loyalty until the day I die. And the day started out really, really shitty for me. And, man, there's nothing worse than waking up and looking at your phone and reading really shitty news to start your day. So I was disheartened and feeling really shitty when this day started. But Billboard magazine, baby, I'm gonna hit the charts with my comedy album. I know this is gonna be a great year. I know great things are gonna happen for me, and I'm in no hurry to get into a relationship, but I'm confident that something nice will happen. Hey, there's the sound of what is that? A leaf blower? A buzz saw? There's been lots of hammering and construction going on in the neighborhood. But anyway, just wanted to give you that little Tom Rhodes update. And I'll be back shortly. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I just got off the phone with Ashna, and I told Ashna all about the woman in Florida who just kind of dumped me. And Ashna, it's wow, how nice to talk to my ex-wife about a current bad relationship situation. And it's really nice that we're still friends and that we could talk openly and honestly about this. And Ashna said, forget that woman. And she said her advice to me was to try and keep people with dark energies out of my life. And that was interesting. Nice advice. It's too bad. I really thought the person was a good person, and I was really looking forward to spending time with them. But I guess that's the kind of thing that self-centered narcissists would say when the whole world revolves around them. So, and then also I needed Ashna's advice about this podcast. I told her I had just recorded 20 minutes, and I didn't think it was enough to put out an episode. And she said, yeah, you should put it out. Ashna is still editing the podcast and helping me out with different projects and stuff. So it's remarkable that this day started out so shitty for me, and I thought I wouldn't record a podcast. And then now a series of events, nice things happened for me. It started with Lou Angel Wolf's girlfriend Pam bringing me a egg McMuffin, and then I got the email from Billboard magazine, and then I did the interview with Interrobang, and then Delta Airlines called and reinstated my diamond status. So and I'm sitting on a back porch in Florida, which is one of my favorite activities in the world, looking at beautiful trees, beautiful sky, palm trees. As much as the world sucked when I woke up today, things are looking pretty good. So I hope your life is going like that. Hopefully anything that was bothering you today worked itself out by the end of the day. And I think I mentioned this already. It's a real white privilege thing to complain about your airline status being lowered. But I always thought Twitter was full of evil and hate, and I try and keep a minimal presence on Twitter. But today, thanks to Ari Shafir and his listeners of the Skeptic Tank, the hundreds of people that tweeted at Delta Airlines, it was powerful enough for a force of good to get me lifted back up to diamond status. So, I'm very well aware of white privilege, and that I may have benefited from that my whole life. But anyway, praise be to Allah, and praise be to Delta Airlines. Praise be to R.E. Shafir and all of his wonderful listeners, and my wonderful listeners. And then the only other update, the shows are going great. I'm bringing out the new material because I got to develop the new hour. And then also, I've been working on my book to go along with my album. And, I already finished the first draft, and every chapter is the same city. Every chapter is a different city, and it's all the same cities that are on my album around the world. It's going to be on the Billboard charts next week. Hallelujah. So now, I've been going through old comedy notebooks of mine and looking for any notes and funny stories or jokes about all these cities. So I want to hopefully have this turned in to my whoever can sell this to a book publishing company by the end of the month. Hey, it might be easier to sell a book idea if the album is on the Billboard charts. So anyway, I've been looking, and really interesting to see. I was just looking through a 2005 notebook. That's like even before I met Ashna. And it's just funny to see what I was going through in life and different notes. So I'm putting all the notes where they belong with the different countries. So I thought you might, I don't know if this stuff is going to make the book, but I thought this would be interesting. Since this is a short episode of my podcast, I thought I'd read you some of the notes. And like I said, I don't know if this stuff is going to make the final cut, but this is stuff I put in the Israel section. I grew up Catholic/Christian, and you can make fun of my God all day long, and I won't get mad. I think Jesus was a swell guy. He hung around prostitutes and probably enjoyed a dirty joke. I'll bet you Jesus was a real crack-up, good-time guy to be around. The Prophet Muhammad, on the other hand, seems like he would have been less fun to be around. I'll bet no one was ever allowed to tell him if he had pretzel crumbs in his beard. All right, like I said, those probably won't make it. I'm just reading you what I found. I miss being Catholic because I always found that Catholic guilt intensified the pleasure. Nowhere in Jesus' teachings does he preach anything but acceptance. Why don't we just take the best elements of each religion and make one great religion that everyone can agree on? Hindu says that no human being has the right to take the life of another living creature. We could all use that one. Islam says the wife can never refuse the husband's sex. That's one we could all use. Christianity says to love your enemy and forgive them. We will call it the universal righteousness machine. Our motto is no fear, no envy, no meanness. Every religion basically comes down to the same simple message. Don't be an asshole. Hey, my friend Lou just came to the back. And here, I'll read one last one before we have a guest star cameo by Lou Angelwolf, Florida comedy legend. Here, pull up a chair there, handsome.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
They thought Jesus was a punk in Nazareth. He didn't get any love in his hometown. People would yell, "We've heard this act. Do you have anything new?" Jesus had to take his show on the road to Jerusalem before he got any respect. All right. Well, so those are just some of the notes. They're not all of the notes. Just something that I wanted to share with you. So welcome, Lou Angelwolf.
Thank you, Tom.
It's always a joy to see you, and it's even more of a joy to stay in your home.
Well, you're always welcome, as you know. That goes without saying.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you could catch us on the inception of springtime. We had our 2 weeks of winter here in Central Florida.
I bet it was rough.
Oh, I had a jacket in the car for like 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, L.A. was more cold and rainy than usual.
Yeah, the music stopped and everybody changed positions.
So it's like, it's even, this is the Florida that people dream of when they think of Florida.
What they call a Chamber of Commerce day.
That's it.
Yeah. High 70s, low humidity, nice breeze. You know, it really doesn't get much nicer than this. And great time to do some grounding. You do any grounding, Tom? Go out there and put your feet in the dirt and get some mud in between your toes.
Oh, I thought grounding was when someone you really liked sent you a shitty text message dropping the guillotine on your neck.
Well,
I was grounded this morning, in fact.
yeah, that was a strange scenario. But, you know, it was also from somebody that hardly knew you.
Yeah.
So
true.
there's that. And, you know, so whatever petri dish of depth she was dealing from had nothing to do with your reality.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
yeah.
people make analysis, you know, that you're not supposed to judge, but you're also supposed to, you know, weigh your situations. Keeps you alive.
Everyone judges every minute of the day.
Yeah.
You know, we do it for survival.
Yeah, thank God. 'Cause I would have walked into a lot of open wells over the years.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? And to be honest with you, I was ready to jump into a relationship with that woman, and I think you were right when I told you the story when you just got home and you said she just did me a favor.
Yeah, she did. Really, people don't take long enough hiatuses between relationships. And what also happens, too, is whatever was deficient in the old relationship winds up showing its head somewhere in the new relationship, and you really never got anything worked out. And I think what it is, too, is as we get older and the more and more truth is revealed throughout the world every day. I mean, there's the boundaries of truth are expanding to brighter skies, and also the boundaries of deception are going into darker realms. But as we go towards brighter disclosure and more understanding, you know, I think people are becoming more honest. And that's a real important thing.
I think now, because the world is so full of lies
Yes.
and misinformation, I think that honesty is very sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a girl that I saw years ago, and she used to say, "The truth makes me wet."
Oh, love that.
And I think now, like authenticity and
Sure.
and just being a truthful, good-hearted person
Right.
really stands out because it's such a radical stance to make right now because everybody seems full of shit and lies.
Well, you know, there's a handful of comics that I've noticed over the last few years that are brutally honest and almost, you know, sharing information that we don't necessarily want to hear.
Right.
But they're being truthful, and you got to give them a little credit for that. Yeah, and I think there's a new trend of that coming up. But as far as relationships go, I really think you need to be brave to be true. You need to tell whatever person you may be sending some kind of focus onto. You need to tell them what your intentions are. You need to tell them how you are. You need to share a lot of things about yourself that you normally might keep to yourself. But information is knowledge, and if you have all the information, you can make good decisions. And you know, and that's what I think a lot of people are. That's what has everybody so dizzy, is they're making decisions based on bad or incomplete information. And It's very frustrating. It's all part of the jangle in your head.
Well, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but there's this English philosopher that Ashna turned me on to, this guy Alain de Botton, and you could watch his videos. He's done books and BBC specials, and one of his things is Why You Will Marry the Wrong Person. He's written about work, life, travel, and he writes a lot about relationships. And so he says his big thing is when you first start seeing somebody, you're trying to put on your best self.
Sure.
Because you want this person to fall in love with you.
Right.
But what you should actually be doing, everyone at the beginning of a relationship, you should start the relationship on your first date by saying, "What's crazy about you?"
Yeah.
And this is what's crazy about me.
Right.
Because those are going to be the biggest obstacles that you're going to have
Sure.
in your relationship.
It's like Chris Rock says, for the first 6 months you date somebody, you don't date them, you date their representative.
Right.
And that's very, very true. There is a little bit of a agency contact going on there, And we all want to be perceived as cool and lovable and kind, and many of us are. But on the other side, it's also wrong for the receiving party to expect this perfection in the other person, especially when they themselves are multi-flawed. But a lot of people are looking for relationships for a lot of different reasons, and sometimes people are hard to figure out. And the other thing too, I'm in the autumnal years of my life, and I meet people my age, whether it's a personal relationship, a business relationship, or just a friendship. They've been through a lot of stuff already. Everybody's had a marriage or two, maybe 3, who knows, a couple career changes, things that they thought were going to be forever or not, guys that went to work for big corporations, and now the corporations are on the verge of bankruptcy, and they spent their whole life working for that company. So there's a lot of big changes going on, and what happens is when people become afraid, they don't make good decisions, especially if you're fearing that you're not going to have enough money to live the rest of your life, or your current situation isn't stable. That's when people really start acting up and doing odd things. And then as we wash ourselves in and out of these relationships, when you start a new one, I think this brutally honest thing, I can tell you from experience, it eliminates a lot of people right up front.
Yeah.
Okay. If you start sharing some of your quirks and oddities, or things that you stand for and won't, your haves and have-nots, or your must-haves and your must-not-haves, if you start stating those things and you're very truthful about it, you're going to eliminate a lot of people, because they're going to go, oh, well, he feels that way. There's no way I could possibly, work out something with someone that feels like that.
Yeah. Well, and one reason I did like this person was because she was an older woman.
Yeah.
And I thought we did have like a good understanding of what I am going through, what she's been through, and that I don't want to be with a young woman because like a young woman plays games and hasn't had their heart broken enough,
Right, yeah.
And I thought that the person that I was
Pursuing
was I don't know what happened. I'm completely mystified. All I know is that I woke up and severely had my feelings hurt.
Aw.
And then the day got progressively better.
Yes.
And
congratulations on the Delta resurrection there.
Thanks,
That's
man.
much more important than them some.
No, and then you just came home, and there's nothing more valuable than friendships.
No.
And you are probably one of my oldest friends on the planet Earth. We've been friends for over 30 years.
I love you, brother.
You've helped me through so many difficulties. You've helped me move. I've cried on your shoulder over countless relationships, and then and then you to come in at the end of this podcast, which I had no intention of recording today. It's just like, oh, now I feel happiness.
He's the off-night white in shining armor.
No, man. So it's really nice. It's really remarkable, the rainbow of emotions that I've gone through today.
Well, it's beautiful that you're recognizing it, and you're not internalizing the hurt that you felt this morning. And when people hurt your feelings, the other thing you got to remember, Tom, and this is part of the 4 agreements, is don't take it personally. Okay, it had very, very little to do with you. Okay, even though she aimed her barbs at you and made some accusations or whatever, really has very, very little to do with you. She made an assumption. She's projecting a lot of stuff onto you. And the other side of it is you have to realize You're half of it. She's the other half, but you can't take what she feels personally because it has really very, very little to do with you. It's something. I mean, she's got, she's known a lot of people in her life, I'm assuming, and she's seen various things, and she may have. You don't know what spooked her, scared her, or caused this type of action. But hey, let it be, and don't take it personally, man. It's that you were talking about Jesus before. One of the things Jesus said is, they don't want to hear you. Dust off your sandals and move on.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's all you can do.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, the truth of the matter is, I am a self-centered narcissist. Who do you think does stand-up comedy?
Right.
It's not people with low self-esteem.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it is, but I mean, you got to trick yourself into having self-esteem to fucking do it. You know?
Well, that's our little.
An artist. Every artist, musician I know is a self-centered narcissist.
Sure. And people from the mechanical side of the world don't understand a lot of artists, and it's okay. That there's every size gear for every size wheel, and but those of us who work in the arts and try to express ourselves artistically, either through writing or performance or painting or sculpting, whatever it is that you do, that source there. That's what you need to shine up. That's what you need to keep sharp and clean and clear. Because that's the most rewarding to your own soul. Like I said, I don't read my critics. Don't read your critics.
Right.
Because they're, they've ruined so many people. They've just ruined so many people because the people made the mistake of taking their critique seriously.
Right.
And the other side of it is, too, those who can do. Those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach, critique. So, critics are they're on the third rung of reality, okay? So just let them be, and they're probably just trying to fill up some column space in their own life. Really all it is.
Well, I'm grateful that I have a friend like you in my life.
Same here, Tom.
And it's, really recharges my batteries anytime we get together.
Well, buddy, you're mi casa, su casa.
And you've proven that through the year. And your truck is my truck. I get to drive your truck while I'm here.
Well, man, anything for you, brother. Anything for you.
I love you, buddy. And then we're going to do a regular full-on podcast.
Yeah.
Before I leave here. I'm glad you sat down.
Yeah, we're going to do the Grease Gurus tomorrow, too.
Oh, yeah, your podcast.
Automotive talk show that I do every Saturday mornings. And then I wish you were around next Wednesday. We could do the IMHO.love show. But, maybe you call in.
Okay. Whatever you need, my brother.
All right,
whatever
baby.
you need. All right, Lou. Thanks for being my friend. I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank everybody who tweeted to Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
I want to thank Delta Airlines for really caring about their most loyal customers. I mean, and I really talk Delta Airlines up all over the place.
Oh, they're very good.
I think they're the best. And then also they're connected to KLM, which goes to Holland, and then Air France that goes to France, and all the China Airlines and the Vietnamese airline, and everywhere I want to go is connected to Delta.
What was Mitchell Walters' stolen line? Delta didn't even leave the airport.
Oh, hilarious. I don't remember that. I see Mitchell once in a while.
He's a treat.
He's a treat. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope if your day started out shitty, a lot of really nice things happened for you along the way, and it ended up being a wonderful, glorious, sunny Florida springtime day. So I love you, Delta Airlines, and I hope you hear this. And
tweet it.
Tweet it. Okay, guys, I love you very much, and shalom, amigos, y amigas, and long may you run.
Tom Rhodes, you're a funny man. Tom Rhodes, you're an international comedian. Tom Rhodes, karate kick, baby, oh yeah. You're a groovy dude. You go all around the world, telling jokes to all of the people. You are an international comedian. You're funny to everybody in every single country in the world. Tom Rhodes, I like you very much. I think you're talented and very wonderful. Tom Rhodes, you're the best guy in the world. I wanna be your friend, you should call me sometime. Here is my phone number, 603-644-0048. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tom Rhodes, you're an international comedic sensation. Tom Rhodes, I like to listen to your podcast. Tom Rhodes, you're the best man to ever walk on the earth.